Good day, everyone. This is Pine Leaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Arendis
Hey, everybody.
and Cinders.
Hello.
Hello there. Let's head into what news we have for this week, and we are going to start out with the first release for a preview on Bull Roarer. And this is the first build for 24.2. Now, either of you have any chance to go into Bull Roarer?
I did not. And for me, it has a little bit to do with the fact that every time they wipe it, you have to start over. And by the time I figure out the Bull Roarer is up, there isn't much time to start over. And
Start over?
Well, so like if they wipe the whole database, then you have to get your character all geared up and all that stuff that you have to do. And then you have to go out and try stuff.
Why don't you just copy your character over from live?
You do, and then you make some adjustments so that they've got like the best gear and everything.
Oh.
And the reason I do this is 'cause Sans.
Sans.
Yes, because there is a way to do stuff. And I went, it's like a day left. I'm done. So I did other stuff instead.
All right. So she tries to make you get all the latest gear or the latest OP gear or something like that?
Yes. And she does it for her character too. And then she takes it out and tries everything.
She tries everything.
Yes, because the question is always, does Sans get smashed? If Sans gets smashed, then she has to go back to the drawing board. If Sans doesn't get smashed, she's really happy, and everything keeps going like normal.
By smashed meaning that the 20 orcs that she fought all at one time didn't kill her?
Yeah, pretty much. Or if they kill her, then she's been smashed, and she has to go, like, rework her gear, because, you know.
All right.
It's good times.
Good times, yes, quite a bit. Let's go then and look at what we have. First off, there is an interlude, Shades in the Swamp, where darkness has fallen upon the Vales of Anduin, and Gandalf needs your help to help safeguard the Woodmen and Bjorni who live nearby. And this is also going to be a new on-ramp for owners of the Black Book of Mordor to allow them to pick up the story there in case that they haven't been following all along so far. Alright, and this serves as prologue for adventures to come into Imlad Morgul. And yeah, it's going to be fun when we head into Imlad Morgul. I know Sans Winda's going to love it in Imlad Morgul if Shelops Rúvid is down there.
Yeah. I want to be there the first time she goes.
Then Shades in the Swamp, the path to Gladdenmere, a rock slide in the Vales of Anduin has opened up the Gladdenmere High above the Gladden Fields. Radagast now seeks answers to the mysterious shades encroaching upon the lowlands from the mysterious mountain lake. For those who have completed the adventures in the Vales of Anduin, visit a major landmark or begin your journey to the Gladdenmere. So this means, I believe, this is a new pass over the Misty Mountains that's opened up, is the impression I'm given from that. Which, I don't know why you would need a rock slide as an excuse. You could probably just say that the snows have melted and the pass is now safe or something like that. Because there are some passes that close down for the winter. But
That's true, but it does sound more dramatic to say a rock slide.
Yeah, I guess you got a point there. Now, from what I noticed on the forums, this particular pass is a narrow and twisty and rough pass, which is why most people, when they go over the Misty Mountains, tend to take the Redhorn Pass, at least during the summertime, because the Redhorn Pass is easier to take carts across.
That sounds great. I think that's a perfect reason.
Mhm.
Yeah. So at least that's the impression I got from the forums. I guess when we go to the pass, and if it looks like a big, wide, smooth lane, we can call foul on it.
True.
And next we have the Scion difficulty system. The Scion difficulty system allows players to select an instance difficulty rating from Tier 1 to Tier 5 that adds particularly challenging enemies along with occasional new mechanics, along with new rewards. Scion buffed enemies can appear starting at Tier 4, and higher tiers have a higher chance of Scions to appear. Opening any boss chest above Tier 2 will result in the items being generated to be with a higher item level bonus. Opening a final boss chest above Tier 4 results in a chance of special epic gear to appear. The gear is not filtered by class and can be traded after it appears.
So by instance difficulty, they're not just talking about raids, they're talking about things like skirmishes too.
I don't know about skirmishes. Skirmishes might not. Usually when they say instances, they mean dungeons as opposed to skirmishes and the like.
Okay.
So probably not the skirmishes.
What are the chances of us talking you into trying a 3-man at some point? Tier 4.
Yikes! That sounds like Sanswinda's doing.
It could have something to do with that.
Yeah, most likely she will try to talk us into something like that. Now, I did not try this out on Borar, so I don't know how much that is going to be affecting us yet.
Fair enough.
I really should have thought of doing that because I was focused on trying to see if I could look at the interlude. That I didn't think about the Scion difficulty system when I was on there. But apparently I probably should have done that. But I have a feeling the skirmishes are only going to be Tier 1 to 3 still. But things like maybe the school and library will have.
That would be fun.
Yeah, we'll see, because if there are any ones like that. Now, interestingly enough, this sounds like a lot to me like a system in DDO called Reaper. And
So you'll need to explain because I haven't a foggiest idea what you're talking about.
right.
Me either.
Now in DDO, you have the following tiers for most dungeons. Most dungeons you go in with 1-6 players. Okay, I'm excluding raids right now, which are designed for 12 as usual. But the regular instances, you can take from 1 to 6 people in there, and it automatically balances itself for that number. So sometimes better than others. Actually, I think it balances itself for 1 to 4. So if you have 5 or 6, then you just have a couple extra characters in there to help you along a little bit in there. But I think the maximum in which they scale it is 4, I think. But anyway, you have casual mode where things are a little bit easier, and therefore you get a little bit of a hit on XP, and I think you might only get half of the renown you would get otherwise. So you have casual, then you have normal difficulty, then you have hard difficulty, and then you have the elite difficulty. Then a year or two ago, they added something called Reaper. And in Reaper, there are 10 levels of Reaper difficulty, so a little bit more than what you have here. You see, they have a much Reaper mode. You do
Pine leaf? you're coming in and out.
appear through randomly around to make it more difficult. So the whole thing was saying that there's these special signs being present. I have a feeling they're the equivalent to Reap-EO.
Pineleaf, we missed part of what you said, or at least I did.
All right. Which part did you miss?
Back it up like 3 sentences.
You think I actually remember 3 sentences ago?
Because it's popping in and out is what's happening on my end.
Sounds like you're also popping in and out.
I think Discord's doing the thing.
Oh boy.
Well, Discord seems to be normal for me right now. How much did you hear? Oh, that's right. That was Cinders.
I heard. I feel like I heard everything. Maybe one sentence of Pine Leaves got missed, and then Cinders cut in for a split second, and then cut in and out.
Okay, because my voice-connected thing keeps going from green to red, back to green.
Okay, so
it might be on my
end. Your end. Yeah, it sounds like it's on your end. So I hopefully, Mixler is picking it up.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. All right, continuing on.
Right. In summary, though, then that science seems to be an equivalent to Reapers, where you have these special bosses that can appear, and you get extra loot for doing them based on the exact tier you're doing it, and all of that. We'll see how it is in practice. I'll have to tell you that I've never tried Reaper mode in DDO because I have no trouble doing it at hard, much less elite. So why go into Reaper? Let's then look into other things. Class changes. The captain. And there's this big, long list of things that they did in here. I'm not going to go through them all, mainly because when these were posted and the first preview went up, you immediately started the flames flying from the captain saying, "What? No! Ouch! Hey, what are you trying to do? Nerf us?" Or all this stuff, or it's not enough, or anything like that. So I don't know if there are any captains who are saying that this is great or anything like this, but I saw tons of messages of captains saying they don't like the changes, that they're not enough, and it sounds like to me that Standing Stones Games is looking at the captain, and the thing about the captains is they add so much DPS to the party in general that it has to be balanced by having less DPS for the captain themselves, because the party is doing so much more damage as a result of the captain. And of course, this makes the captain a real pain to solo, because they're not getting because they don't have the friends around who are pumping out all that DPS to them. At least that's the impression that I'm getting on that.
I'd say it's looking like, though, it was supposed to increase the damage that a captain can do independently and the heals that a captain can do.
Well,
it says most heals have had their magnitude increased, most damage skills have had their magnitude increased.
Apparently, well, maybe they were increased, but the captains still say that they're doing a whole lot less damage than other classes. I think
that would be true.
What we need is a captain to actually tell us what's really happening here, because I've played a captain some, but certainly not enough to tell whether or not anything's been improved on there.
So, we will work on that.
We will work on that, and if possible, we will try to get a captain here to set us right, because I'm sure everything I said about the captain changes so far is completely wrong.
Yeah, it's none of our forte.
Yeah. Let's then look at crafting. A new tier of essences called Vladimir Essences are now available for crafting. Yep, do. Like, I haven't been crafting any essences so far, so whatever you say.
Pretty sure Sans will be on it as soon as they're available. You don't need to worry.
Yeah, and she could give us the report on them then. And as for items, fix an issue with the Silverback Badger cosmetic pet that was causing the server to crash. Actually, no, I think causes the client to crash. Hopefully, it was causing the server to crash. It'll cause your client to crash, I think, if you brought out a Silverback Badger or something like that, or at least for some people, at least.
That's a powerful badger.
Yeah. A gear that appears in the Grey Mountains 3 and 6 player instances and can now only increase the item level by 1 instead of 5. And corrected an issue where the Anvil of Winterstead Tier 3 package items were displaying the incorrect item level during selection. And as for quest and adventure errors, fixed a stuck spot at the Bjorning Hoose, corrected a dead spot in Breetown. Dead spot Breetown?
I kind of want to go see if I can figure out where that is.
And fixed an issue where the cave entrance in Western Angmar would not display properly.
Message to Standing Stone. This is a request from Arendis. Can you please put either like an image or like a little tiny video or something of each of these when stuff like this happens? Can you give us some kind of image? Because now I would love to know what this death spot is. I would love to know what is going on. How does a cave entrance not display correctly? And I want to see these things, but they're already fixed.
Well, this is only fixed on Bullroar, which means that in theory, it's still live. Right? Which means
now we have to switch.
We need an expedition to Breetown.
Yes.
And we're going to run through every spot we can in Breetown and see if we die, right?
Well, yes, you have to be careful concerning death spots in Breetown.
Okay.
Because there have been 1 or 2 occasions in the past where there have been very bad places to get to, and you have to go through really almost exploit level hoops in order to get to those locations. And if you successfully get there, you might put your character into a position where the character cannot be retrieved.
So what you're saying is so now what you're saying is we need to create new characters, care nothing about them, and then try it.
Without exploiting the game.
Yes. Yeah. Emphasis on that part.
Yeah. Look. All right. Yes. Yeah. Don't do it on your most beloved character.
If you get like baby hobbits and run them around and just see how far. No. How high can I jump? Where do I fall off?
Yeah. Virtue trait display stats and now use level-based cap rather than the maximum cap. That's right, because I think it says something like you're at 20 of 60. It might say something or like that. It always says how far you up were relative to 60, and not giving you a clue as to what your current cap is, I guess. So I think I usually just find that the cap is usually my level divided by 2. So
that's what I discovered this week was level divided by 2 because I have a character that's 28 and it's 14. But the only other number that it's displaying is the next one to get to, so it'll be like 14 to 15.
Yes, but below that, I think there's another number where it says, I thought it also says something /60.
It might, I don't know.
Right, so I was thinking that 60 might be what they're replacing. We'll have to see. I didn't think about checking that when I was on Bulwer. Oh, actually, the only character I logged into on Bulwer was my level 60 Warden anyway, so sort of moot. And my level 120 Warden, so it was showing cap of 60.
So when you log on, Pineleaf, do you get the newest and best gear? Or do you just go out and see what your current gear does in the new setup?
I just keep my current gear. I don't want to spend time tweaking this and tweaking that while I'm in the Isengard Tavern. I just pick up wherever my character was.
Okay. Have you ever gotten smashed?
I'm sure once or twice.
Okay. And I try all these different methods, right?
Yeah, but I am a warden, so that does reduce my chances of getting smashed unless I do something silly like go into a raid or something like that.
Which you would never do, so.
Right. Yeah, Sanswinda might.
This is why you don't bull roar with Sanswinda, right?
Yes, bore responsibly. Yes. As for known issues, the captain's strength in numbers magnitude is not currently set at the correct level. Okay, so they're just giving a warning. So there are a couple of issues that they had here and there. There was Gandalf is not available at Grimbjorn's lodge, and I was looking for Gandalf at one point saying, wait a minute, I'm supposed to talk to Gandalf inside the lodge. Oh, known issue. Oh well. I like this one. Quest, Unfortunate Orcs, cannot be completed. I'm sure that the poor orcs are not so unfortunate if you can't complete a quest, because it sounds like to me they're going to die as a result of it.
Say it sounds like they might be fortunate orcs.
Yeah, they're fortunate until they fix that. I would presume that in the next build these will be fixed.
It could be that that's the reason why the quest can't be completed, because they're in such a quandary over the loop of whether or not they're fortunate or unfortunate that it never.
Okay, I would laugh though if, like, over their heads, at least on Bull Roar, you know how they like give them the name of what kind of orc they are?
Mm-hmm.
If it said like certain ones that you could kill were like unfortunate orcs, and then there were some that were just like green, so you can actually attack them, that said fortunate orcs over the top, I think that would be hysterical. At least on Bull Roar. I don't think that would go over well on the live server, but I think it would be hysterical on Bull Roar.
Oh boy. That sounds more like something that they would do when they have a very extensive bore, such as you would have with a major update or with a... Back in the days when when they did an expansion, they would have this private, an invitation only level of Boer for about 2 or 3 months before they would open up to the jumping. So therefore, there's a much longer prep time, and they would first give you the stuff in a very, very broken state to see how the players are going on, stuff like this. Because I remember doing that for when they were opening up Rohan. And yes, it is time for us to test overloading the server, as everybody who was on Borer was doing this run-into all at the same time. See how fast we can get our war steeds. So you can imagine everybody running the Langhold all at once.
Oh gosh.
I'm guessing Langhold was like Bree during a festival.
Yeah, that's what. And yeah, really fun trying to go after the salamanders and all that stuff. So I don't think Arendis, you haven't been to Rohan yet, right?
Only I may have in Bull Roar, but if I did, it wasn't for very long. I have been to Minas Tirith through Bull Roar, and that was fun. I jumped off the prow.
Okay, so you haven't done any lives. You're an Enidwythe now, or?
Not quite yet. Level 63-ish.
Oh, okay. So you're still in Mirkwood. That's right.
Yep, we're almost there. We're almost there, guys.
Now, note that Enidwythe is the same level range as Mirkwood is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's essentially an alternate path to go from 61 to 65. I just don't do that because, well, I'm going to unlock those skirmishes. So obviously I'm going to go to Mirkwood. Because you got those 5 skirmishes that you have to do the Mirkwood Epic in order to do. But yes, you do have a leveling range from 61 to 65 in Enidwythe. The Epic, though, I think is leveled at 65 because when they originally wrote the Epic story for that area, when they first opened up Enidwythe, it was 65 all the way through. They changed the range later on to give an alternate path for leveling up to 65.
Oh, okay.
And Enidwythe was actually the first zone opened for free-to-play, so therefore, I guess I guess you could say the ended-wise was update 0. Because that's when they started doing update numbers, was with free-to-play. Before that, they gave everything book numbers.
Ah.
I just admire that you guys like follow the storyline through the way it's supposed to be. I have one character that I'm trying that on a completely different server than my usual, just because I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it totally separate from anything else I'm doing. But I think I have precisely 2 characters that have the Moria skirmishes, or the Mirkwood skirmishes unlocked.
Yeah, Sans Window tries to get you to go to 105 the purchase way.
She's not usually been the one who like pushes that. It's usually me going, I want to keep up with you, so I'm going to purchase this, and then I have to go make it all up later.
But yeah.
Or we do things like skirmish irresponsibly, but you didn't hear that, Pine Leaf.
Okay.
So my Emerlina character on Landerfall, the reason she is where she is level-wise is she skipped 40 levels by skirmishing irresponsibly.
40?
Yes.
40 levels of skirmishing.
It wasn't just like multiple skirmishes, though. It was like one skirmish repeatedly for hours on end. With
Ouch!
So we wanted to get her to a level where she could go. It was something girls were doing, and I wanted to take her. And so Sans was like, well, if I get my level 115 hunter, and we just bump this like 3 levels above your level, we can just pull you along with all of these boosts. And that's what we did. And so she went from 40 something when she went to Mordor with the girls, and made it all the way to Barad-dûr, to level 80 something to do stuff with girls in the span of like 2 days.
Oh my god.
Storm on Methedris will always have a special place in my heart.
Is a special place like that corner where you never go, or a place that you look back fondly and go, that was cool, I don't want to do that?
That's where I go, that was cool, I don't want to do that again unless I absolutely have to. But I've done it since then with Sans, because that's like her preferred way to level characters quickly, without paying for it. And so what I do is I bound my follow skill to a key, and I just select her and press the key and then just watch her go on my screen.
Oh boy.
And this is when I hope that when she's going through this, she doesn't listen too carefully to the entire podcast.
Yes.
Or I might have to be more involved the next time around. I also provide snacks while she does the skirmish part, though, so I guess that's an important part there. That's a valuable contribution.
It's always an important part.
I ate a chocolate bar and share like a piece with her every now and again.
Yeah. For me, this is definitely a very different way than I would help someone level up.
To be fair, I've only done it with the one character, though.
Okay, good.
All of my other high-level characters have either gotten there legitimately, like my level 60-something lore master, she's where she's supposed to be legitimately, and she got there by questing, and because she did some questing with Pine Leaf and Sans, and then the other ones I pretty much purchased and Aria'd them. So, yeah.
Okay. With that done...
Sorry, guys. Total sidetrack there.
No, sorry. I'm actually kind of curious, and part of me wants to do this, but I don't know if I want to start hating a skirmish or not.
So, the way to do it without hating the skirmish, get Sans and Maven to do it with you.
Get Sans and Maven.
Seriously, get Sans and Maven to do it with you. Because they'll bring their high-level characters, and they just smash through and talk to you the entire time, and you pretty much just follow along and try to stay alive.
I think I can do that. I think I can handle it. Yeah. We shall see. I'll see if they're up for it.
Well, right. Yeah, it sounds like you wind up hating. I know that one time when they used to have a leaderboard on the forums, and I thought, all right, let's see how far I can get up on the leaderboard on skirmish marks earned. And on one server, I noticed one of the people that was near the top was spamming Fort of Bruin. And I would look at the records because it also showed the records of what they're running. It goes, Fort of Bruin and Fort of Bruin and Fort of Bruin. It looked like the guy was running Fort of Bruin and constantly all day long. I was like, what?
I just want to know how they have that much time on their hands. I mean, unless they're school teachers in the middle of summer with like a week of nothing going on.
I don't remember what the case. Unfortunately, since they don't have the leaderboard anymore, I look back at the record. Oh, looks like here's see, Dorlin says, oh, it's kind of like running war pens at level 100 plus to get to 120.
It works. I mean, honestly. And so for me, most of my playing is not done independently. It's done with other people. And so it's always important for me to have a character that I can actually like play with them. Like, it's kind of driving me bonkers sometimes when we do the field trip and my highest level character is still under 30. And then I'll be there and be like, oh, well, you know, I get home from school and I'm like, oh, I have like an hour. I could totally play with them. And they've got like level 70 something characters. And I'm like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, but we do have characters that we play when you're on.
You do, but then you'd have to like stop what you were doing and I can't just join in. And so I'm just like, oh, I don't know. And then I'm like, oh, but it's dinner time. So, but I mean, those kinds of things drive me bonkers. And so that's part of why I have, done the Arias is because Cinderina, my main alt on Landerval at this point is 120 because I Aria'd her, and then Sans got her to a level where she could do stuff with one of Sans' alts and Pine Leaf, and they ran through Mordor together, and they kept going. And, and so it's always been, I'm like, I want to keep up with them. I don't want to be the person who holds the party back. And so I take alternative routes to get to places and then find out later, you know, I'm missing like parts of the story, or people will be like, oh, you're level 120. You totally know this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, so that's what that does. Thanks, Dorlin.
Right. Because we do such things all the, because that's where the field trip works, is that whenever the numbers we've gone through many a field trip where, yeah, we switch halfway through to what characters we're playing.
Yeah.
Because either someone was added or someone was subtracted.
Fair enough.
All right. Now, let's then head into what's happening a little bit next week, where Cordovan on Friday is going to be hosting a Standing Stone Games player meetup in Indianapolis. That is, of course, because Gen Con is there, so there'll be a large number of people over there. And this is going to be at the Punch Bowl in Indianapolis.
Sounds like fun.
It does.
You do not need a ticket for the convention. It's a free event to attend, but of course attendees will be responsible for their own beverages. A light food table will be available on a first-come, first-served basis, meaning if there are a huge number of people there eating like ravenous hobbits, it may disappear very quickly. But Standing Stone Games will be providing, as I said, food. Essentially, if they calculate the numbers right, it'll just perfectly fit and be enough for the evening. But when has anyone ever perfectly computed how much food they need?
Never.
You're right.
You're always either under or over.
Right. And we don't know which is going to be the case here, but I'm sure Standing Stones doesn't want to foot being way over.
That would be true.
So if you are a player of DDO or LOTRO or have friends or family that do so, then you could head over to the Punch Bowl in Indianapolis on Friday, August the 2nd from 7 p.m. through 10 p.m. You do not have to have a convention pass in order to go there. Now, they do recommend that you send them an RSVP on Facebook or through the survey, which are linked to the message from Cordovin, whichever is more convenient for you. You're not required to RSVP, but if there's a reasonable, accurate number of people sending RSVPs, I know there is absolutely no correlation to the number of people who RSVP and the number of people who actually arrive. It's one of those weird branches of mathematics. Once you do that, the idea there is they're hoping to have an idea of how many people are coming so they know how much food to have.
Right, and if you need sorry, Pine Leaf, if you need the link to RSVP, it's in the beacon.
Oh, they also have that in the beacon? All right.
Yes.
That's good. All right. We haven't got to the beacon yet. Okay.
Right. I was just looking for it.
I thought we were in the beacon. That's what I missed.
No. I meant the article before that, the meetup one, which also has a link to it. But if you have the beacon, then that'll also do. And they do note that they do have bowling, ping pong, darts, Bolzini, and Giant Connect 4.
What's Bonzini?
Bonzini is apparently a specific brand of foosball.
Oh, okay.
And in the established, and please note that that area is not reserved for them. In other words, anyone at the location is there. It's not reserved for them, but they are available at the establishment. And there's also a vintage arcade. So that's a little place where you could have a little bit of fun. Now, note that unlike last year, this event is open for people under 21, though of course, if you are under 21, you will not be able to buy certain types of beverages.
Shucks.
Now, let's head into the LOTRO Beacon, where it looks like they must be around the midst of Anduin because it's a bit misty there. At least I'm assuming that's where the top piece is at today. And in our community spotlights, we had another successful weather stock on Langeable last weekend, and you could see the archived video at the link provided in the beacon. And as mentioned before, you have the event in Indianapolis. If you'd like to hang out there, there is a link in the beacon as mentioned before. And Fibro Jedi has created a nude North Down Slayer deed map. Really? Is he going to be doing this for all the locations?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I guess I got to see what this deed map looks like. What do you need to slay? Goblins, orcs, Shades Redeemer, trolls, wargs, and worms. Alright. Talks about all those, and then he shows, and for each of the Ds, shows screenshots and coordinates for all the locations, it looks like. And redeeming slaves. Alright, good. Yep. He's rather thorough in this.
Cracks me up that to redeem them, you go out and kill them again. Like, that's just...
Yeah. To redeem them, yeah, you kill them again. Well, yes, you send them. Hopefully, they will now be able to repent and rest quietly, finally. So.
Some of them obviously don't make that choice, as we get to kill them repeatedly.
Yeah, well, there is that. And he also has a list of the Slayer Deed rewards that you have in there, so you could estimate how much reputation and how many LOTRO points you're going to get out of those. Then Deco Dumelu is asking you to vote among the final 15 of their Housing Week in Middle-earth contest. And you could click on their link to follow that, and I would presume they are showing all 15 of these locations.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, they have the list of all 15 of them. And what they do is they give you the number, the name of the location, like Alia Jacta S. Well, okay, maybe I should have read one that's in English instead of one that's in French.
How about like number 4, Fool's Paradise, Breland Homesteads on Arkenstone?
Yeah, that's probably much more to my ability to do. And yes, so they give the address, the neighborhood, the server, of course, some words from the homeowner, and various screenshots from around the housing area. And that one, Fool's Paradise, their floor is lava. Well, that's a nice warm welcome they give you.
Are there like a lot of things that you can jump on, like chairs and tables and things? Is it a reference to that joke, or is it just the floors?
Well, so there seems to be plenty of things on there, yeah. Yeah.
So you can do floor is lava without having anything on top of it either. It basically just makes your floor look like you're walking across a field of lava.
Yes, but in this case, it looks like that they do have plenty of decoration and the lava floor.
So it looks like you don't even actually have to go into game to look at the housing. They've actually got pictures up, interior and exterior of all of them.
And it looks like quite a collection of seeing stones, too. And therefore, that is pretty large house, I must say. That must be a kin home, because I can't imagine that being a personal home, because there seems to be so much that either that or they packed that in very tightly. Now, it looks like that in today, so this is something that was missing, or they actually had on one server a pool party.
How do you get a pool on like, are there pool cosmetics available, like, for your housing? And I've missed it?
It was actually at the, oh, I lost the page. The pond in Staddle near Bree.
Okay.
So less of a pool and more of a lake pond party, but pool party sounds good.
Fair enough.
All right, I suppose that would be so beach blanket Belegier. So yes, but that was today. But maybe they could have a little something. Unfortunately, this whole thing seems to be in German, so
keep scrolling down. There's an English translation as well. If you're listening live, it actually ends at midnight tonight. So if you're on Belegier, we might be able to join in. If you're not listening live, then I'm sorry, it's already.
Well, yeah. The question is they gave the start and end time.
Yes.
In Eastern time. Okay, I thought that since they're in Belegier, they might give it in Central European time instead. But it looks like though on the German version of it, they do have it in. Yeah. Oh, okay. Started at.
If you.
All right. At 8 p.m. Yeah. So it started at 8 p.m. on 8 p.m. their time, 2 o'clock p.m. our time, and it goes on until midnight our time.
Yes.
All right. So if you're listening live, you may have a chance to go there. And now let's head into the kin hall. Played again are a diverse kinship on Brandywine with members from across the world. They take a lighthearted approach to LOTRO, but also get serious when needed. The kinship is looking for players of all levels and experience. We are currently recruiting for our 2 level-capped raid groups, one locked at level 60, about to start doing Moria raid content, and another locked at 105, prepping for the throne. Contacts in game are Kin Leader, Tweelinel, and /Yaron. Officers Amphilis and Valornil. And now comes for our weekly comment. What happens if you eat too much limbus?
I think that probably depends on your character. Because if you're an elf, the chances of you actually eating too much limbus is probably slim to none, because we all know from our experiences in game that the elves don't eat very much. They never have snacks. But like if you're a hobbit, the chances of you overeating are probably pretty significant. But if you just eat till you're full, you're pretty used to eating lots of food. So I don't know that it would really make that much of a difference. Except you'd be full faster because it's bread. Right?
Well, especially since it's limbus, which really fills you up quickly.
Yeah. Hobbits might lose weight. I don't know.
I came to the conclusion that when I say, what happens if you eat too much limbus? I was thinking it could be Terry Adwin's worst nightmare. To turn you into an elf.
And it's possible.
Yeah, you never know what happens.
I think my favorite forum post, and it's a little punny, so I apologize ahead of time, but it says, what happens if you eat too much limbus? Your stomach limb bursts.
That's good.
Oh, boy. Let's enter our fan site news. Polonuni has released their new music video entitled Theoden by the Kinship Brotherhood of the Wolf. The Gamesmeister has recreated Bilbo's journey with Thorin's company in LOTRO. French Girl Gaming hunts goblins in the Vales of Anduin. Balviel streams each week on LOTRO Stream. The Tolkien Professor talks lore and more every Friday afternoon. Zogog sees the ring destroyed. Grandad plays a runekeeper. Tinwilent plays LOTRO regularly on YouTube. And Renaissance Gaming heads into the Gap of Rohan.
Not in the fan site news, but Girls in Middle-earth are going to be streaming tomorrow if all goes well. And it's always crazy fun. Literally crazy fun.
I can vouch for that.
Girls. Yes. Haunton Finberry grabs a screenshot from Weatherstock for a screenshot of the week. And as just said, this was taken during the last week's Weatherstock event.
And it looks really cool.
Whee! And that is it for the weekend. So let's then head into our store sales. And Cinders, what's on sale this week?
So, I'm going to go ahead and just start with the LOTRO bonus days that Am I in the right spot?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Bringing you a 25% XP boost now through July 28th. So tomorrow, friends. Friends of Radagast get 25% off, so select pets and kites, select housing items, select mounts, now through August 1st. I was looking, and they have some pretty good ones. I just don't have LOTRO points at the moment. Our summer sales continue now through August 1st. You can get 35% off inventory upgrades. Always important till you get all of the inventory upgrades, and then it's just pointless. 50% off journeyman writing, account-based, totally worth it. You can use it right out of the thing, right out of the gate there. 75% off Bjorning class and character slots. So if you haven't tried a Bjorning, now's your chance to grab it and join us. And the weekly coupon will get you a free simple rally horn with the coupon code Rally Together now through August 1st.
Now through August 1st. I should note concerning the summer sales, this is the final week of the summer sales because that's a July thing, and when they say it ends on August 1st, obviously it will no longer be July after that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, right. Let's head into our site news. And we have a new entry for Where in Middle-earth is Emeralina? Well, where are you?
Dee-dee-doo. I'm not telling.
Oh. All right, where were you last week?
Last week, so if you go to the Beacon Watch, one of the quests that you can get, because that's the one where the guy just stands and he just stares out the window and he won't do anything because his job is to watch for the beacons from the Beacon Hills, right?
You never heard of delegation, apparently.
Apparently not. He just stands there and stares at it forever. Well, you get to talk to his wife for a quest, and she sends you up this tower, and you get to look out over the area, and so that's where Emeralina was last week.
Yeah.
I sent her up in the tower, and I was like, oh, this is cool! So. And I think she was having a snack.
She was having
I can't remember exactly which one I put up, but I think it was probably the one where she's, like, eating a piece of bread.
Well, it sounds like Emeralina. Well, actually, with Emeralina, I would think that she'd be eating a pie with the way she usually goes about.
Well, you know what? The emote doesn't have her with a piece of pie in her hand. And so when I did the emote, I was like, well, this is as good as it gets. But no, she needs... I don't think she actually has that pie either. The pie that you can just run around with, holding the pie, that nobody can take from you.
Oh,
I need to double check, because she definitely needs to have that pie.
You get that from doing all the pie runs, right? Or is that...
I don't remember if it's from doing all the pie runs. I think it's from doing all the pie runs. But I'm not 100% sure. And I need to make sure that she has it, because she needs it, especially when we actually get things edited and put up that clues everybody in to that, too. Inside joke for the moment. More to come.
More to come. And one of the things of noting concerning pies and all is too bad you didn't reach 11 years yet, because when you do that you get the 11s, and so therefore you would, one of the things that you take out to eat when you are using the 11s as emotes is a pie.
Yeah, I got 9 more years to wait.
A few more years, yeah. Oh, well. All right. It looks like we have an interesting little thing here. Looks like you're ready to take a ride with the Rohirrim.
You know, I have no idea if that's actually what's going to happen next.
Oh, you have no idea what's happening next?
I legitimately don't. So, like I said, she leveled irresponsibly. I just have like bits and pieces of stuff, and so I've just kind of been going back and filling stuff in. And so she randomly shows up in places where she has no idea what's going on. And I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, oh, well, this looks cool.
So to say that picture is awesome. I almost didn't. I was like, "Wait, is she even in this picture?" Because you blended in so well with everything.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
So
yes, the Hobbit with all these.
So to go along with all of the the Rohirrim there, they're definitely not Rohirrim, sorry, totally gave that away. Somewhere in Rohan, guys. No, so, I was looking to see if I could match the cosmetics, because that would totally be worth spending LOTRO points on.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those pre-order things that you had to do for Rohan when it came out to get the cosmetic that matched it. And I was like, no! Just a few years too late on that one, and so I have no chance of getting that cosmetic as far as I could tell. From looking on the LOTRO wiki. So I can get the perfect pie, I just can't get the matching cosmetics.
All right.
So I was bummed. I did my best.
I think I have an idea where you're at, though, of course, I'll refrain from saying it until later. We want people to have a chance to guess it themselves. And that's, of course, right.
Yep. So.
Then let's head into our new player question. And Erin, what's your question this week?
My question this week is a little bit specific, so bear with me. On a Tome of Extraordinary Experience, when you hover over it and it gives you kind of what all it does and the benefits that it has, it says, one of them, it says on use, 100% XP for monster kills, and then it's got a whole bunch of other things that it says on there as well.
Right.
What in this case counts as a monster? Is that a landscape mob? Is it like a specific type of mob?
No,
how does that?
Hostile mob.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's any hostile mob.
Is it anything that tries to kill you?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, especially if you're on a hobbit, that's a monster.
Yeah, because it would be too much of a pain for them to code it any other way.
Touche.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I keep getting those in Hobbit presents and things, and I keep using them, and I've used them for a long time, but I'm like, okay, am I using this correctly, or is there a specific way you're supposed to use it? So,
if you're the worst way to use it is to click on it and then sit back for the next hour.
Right.
But yeah, if you're doing anything where you're going to be running to lots of mobs like skirmishing or...
Those would be the XP boosts that Sans and I used in our irresponsible skirmishing.
Probably, yeah. It sounds like something in that case.
Okay, Sandberg
Gotcha.
says all non-gray and non-purple enemies.
All night. Right, because if they're purple, they're too high for... Yeah, when I said house, obviously. Well, actually, you get if they're gray, you get 0, and you multiply 100% times 0, and you still get 0, right?
Yay!
So technically, you do get the bonus.
You get the bonus, it's just that.
It makes no difference.
It makes no difference. Also by Sandberg, he says that the perfect pie is an item from Sanson's farm. Yeah, that was the other possibility I was thinking of. I think you do it in order to do the preliminary. Yeah, because there are a few quests over at Sanson's farm. You don't have to do all of the chicken quests. I mean, you don't have to do the chicken session play ones. It's either opening up the chicken session play or some of the other quests that are in that area.
But the chicken is fun. The chicken is fun. I haven't done it a lot, but the chicken is fun.
I haven't done it either. Yeah.
So I want to see if you can really get a chicken all the way to Mordor. I've been told it's possible, but you definitely have to have like chicken tenders.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have been in a group that got a chicken to Mordor.
Oh,
what?
And there was now the one who was supposed to be the main one going there was Corey Olson, but Corey decided to take a close examination while in chicken form of a Mumak.
Oh dear.
Squash.
Yeah. Now, there were others in the group also, and those others did make it to Mordor. It's just that Corey Olson didn't make it there.
Fair enough. I definitely am going to be suggesting that girls do that, kind of like when we ran low-level characters through Mordor to see how far they could get to Barad-dûr. We should definitely do a chicken session.
Please do.
Oh, Barrett door. Well, it should be possible to get to Barrett because we had the chickens. Right now, the plan was to get the chickens as close as they could get to the cracks of doom.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, the cracks of doom themselves weren't available aren't on the landscape, but we got as close as we could get. And got a couple of chickens through before it was time. Before we said, okay, we've done it. Now, with that, let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Erin, what were you up to?
It was kind of a light week this week. Mostly just did some inventory management. I took advantage of the inventory slot sale, which I did not know was happening until I looked at the notes right before the podcast started and immediately went and jumped into the game room.
And say welcome to the cycle of never enough inventory slots. A bigger bag just means you fill it with more stuff.
That's what I'm afraid of.
All right, Cinders, what were you up?
Oh, so I did almost all of my stuff in one day. So I dusted off a warden that I have on Landerval. I had made her to run with a warden of Sanses to see if we could get them up to level cap legitimately. And so I dusted her off and took her to the Barrow Downs to do some re-rep stuff, see what I could get and if I could finish off some deeds and work on her virtues a little bit. And so I did that, and then Sans joined me, and my son joined me with his character, because he was about the same level we were, and so then we went and cruised the Barrow Downs a little bit all together as a group, and he actually quested, which, never happens. So that was really exciting. He did 3 quests and then he was like, oh, okay, and I'm done. We're like, all right. So then we kept playing, and then it was supposed to be the night that Terry and Pineleaf and Sans all play together, and sometimes I play with them. But Terry wasn't able to join us, and so we talked Pineleaf into dusting off one of his characters and joining us. And can I tell them?
Well, okay.
And we discovered that Pineleaf actually has a dwarf character, and it was really, really funny. So Pineharp joined us, and we went and did some more smashing through the Barrow Downs. Pineleaf was questing, and Sans and I were deeding. And we got Barrow Brie, and we were very unwise and ate the Brie. Pineleaf did not get Barrow Brie and was totally good with not trying to get him Barrow Brie.
I
might have been unwise twice.
Yeah. Let's just say that there is this thing called dragging it all to your inventory and letting it destroy itself.
Yeah. So Pineleaf is wise, and Sans was kind of wise. She was intentionally unwise. But I was intentionally
wise.
Yes. So she knew what would happen and she did it on purpose. And I knew what would happen and I did it on purpose. And then I did it on accident because I got another thing of it. So yeah. Anyways.
Now, concerning that dwarf was created for a music group I used to be in, where there was one week where we decided we were doing a special dwarven music set that week, so we were asked to all create or log into dwarves. And
yeah. So, to finish off my week in LOTRO, Sans and I also roll new characters on Arkenstone, specifically for the purpose of doing festivals and cosmetics so that they wouldn't be attached to any groups, because I have no cosmetics on that server, or very few cosmetics on that server, and my poor characters are sorely underdressed, and I am not patient enough to get somebody to Dunland. At this point, and like I said, my highest person is under 30, because I really only play them during the summer. So yeah.
There's this hobbit named Lolly, yeah.
There is, but I'm also friends with Terry, and that does not go over well unless it's something that you can't find anywhere else. So my character needs some cosmetics, and so I have characters I can do without feeling guilty, or putting on a tortoise stone. Pineleaf, how was your week?
All right. I will begin on Honor, where my warden thoroughly searched some ruins from top to bottom. And I have a feeling neither of you are catching that reference. Actually, yeah, Cinders, did you ever do NNYs?
So I have sort of done NNY.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
I think I might have actually done that quest, but it's been a while.
yeah, okay, you might have done it is possible that you may have done it's actually an epic story quest, and you're technically going through Eregion, just getting ready to go in and NNY.
Then Emerlina has probably done it, but it's been at least a year.
Yeah, so you search for all those ruins, and this is the first time that I completed that deed without using any references. So I just went over every place to find every nook and cranny I could find, because I think there's some ridiculous number of places you've got to find in order to complete that deed.
Congratulations, Pineleaf.
Yes. And of course, that's because on Honor, I'm trying to be completionist, and any soloable deed I'm expected to complete. And so I went in there and completed that deed because it came up on my deed log. Now I got to get it off of it.
Again, dedication. I am so impressed. It's patience and it's persistence. Good job.
Claps for Pineleaf.
I deeply admire and respect that. I have like 0, and it's kind of a running joke in my family. I have unfinished.
You have no patience.
I have unfinished projects galore. Yeah. The patience and persistence thing is so not me.
All right. Then on Langeval, my warden posted some campaign flyers for the Great Goblin.
Spoiler alert.
Well,
for those of us who haven't been there yet.
Well, yeah, but I think that's cryptic enough not to be too much of a spoiler, right?
Yeah, it's only a spoiler because I was looking over Sanswinda's shoulder.
Then, during the field trip, we completed the Tomb of Elendil with 3 characters that included a level 40 Berg, a level 40 Lore Master, and a level 39 Hunter. And when someone suggested that we do this, I was looking there, no, there's no way we're going to do this, right? It's like, and we were doing the boss fight. I'm doing the boss fight. The Lore Master and the Hunter are both dead near the end of it, and the turtle is getting down lower and lower and lower. So I've got this big, huge turtle in front of me, of course, that I'm trying to kill. And I've got all the tiny turtles, which are now on me because they finished killing the other 2. And my morale is going down. How am I going to get my morale back up? I don't know how I managed to get that big turtle down before I went down. Because I actually managed to survive that battle, and I did not think it was possible to do it with 3 on level power.
So if you weren't following that, Pineleaf was the burglar.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the burglar in that. And of course, I'm not exactly the greatest burglar in the world. I think it's a little bit of an understatement there. Yeah, I
don't know that I've ever seen you play a Berg.
I actually am doing a YouTube series where I'm playing a...
Oh.
So in that case, it's a blue line burglar where I'm playing on the YouTube. The I actually did the first half of my Bingo Boffin series on a burglar, but because of the way things start jumping when you get to Eregion, and when I got to Moria, I switched over to a hunter and did the second half of it on my hunter instead. And I later on decided, let's brush off this character. I created a new series later on, which was to play the burglar. And part of what I'm doing is finishing up Bingo Boffin, except this time I'm not trying to do Bingo Boffin week by week, because when I was doing it with burglar originally and later on to the hunt, my goal was to have a new episode that contains the latest quest each week, rather than doing each week's worth in there as they released a new one, so that I was up to date with the latest Bingo Boffin in there. So now that I could do Bingo Boffin at my leisure on this character, now I'm going back and having the burglar finishing up Bingo Boffin there. Playing a blue line burglar, and and while trying to play the burglar there, I'm in Norcross right now. So I was just doing the murder mystery bit this week. So that's where I'm at on there. We're out in the Norcross now. Actually, it's possible you don't know what I mean by the Norcross, but that's another matter.
I do know what you mean by the Norcrofts. I have been there. I have been to the Suitcrofts. I have been all over Rohan.
Okay.
Not actually questing, but all over Rohan. Because Sans loves Rohan.
And this was my attempts at trying to learn mounted combat on a burglar. Which is...
I've been told that's actually a lot of fun.
Well, to me, the funnest part of mounted combat on a burglar is when you use stratagem and are not seen by the enemy in there.
Yeah, and say Terry's loved doing it on her burglar. So I figured out, this is my tip for Arindis when she gets there. Actually read all of your skills and use your toggle skills that are actually toggle skills, because it's amazing how helpful they are. I haven't tried it with a champion, but on my guardian, the toggle skills that make every skill that you hit that's not self-directed take you back to the person you're fighting is so helpful, rather than trying to stay with them.
Oh, actually, that's what I did halfway through it, is I went back to my old trick of using the /follow.
Oh, I haven't tried that.
It uses less power than the skill that keeps on aligning on them, so therefore I tend to use /follow instead. I think that you could probably do... Actually, no, because with /follow, because you don't have to worry about follow through or anything like that, because...
Yeah, so, I was doing that on Emerlina, my guardian, and those two toggle skills were like lifesavers. But I haven't noticed them using power, so I'm gonna have to pay more attention when I'm doing that again.
Now, it could be that they've changed what it does, because I know back when they first came out, it did something like increased your power usage by 50% or something weird like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at it again.
Yeah, you'd have to look at it again on there. But that was the problem, is why I tended to avoid that particular skill. But /follow works very, very well, at least for what I've been doing. But before I remembered /follow, I was having a lot of trouble, especially in one quest where you had to fight two signatures at the same time on the landscape. And even then, /follow may have been a bit of a pain if I went through there, because if the enemy is dragging you all over the place next to other mobs in there, then those archers are still going to be shooting at you. So I don't know if they'll do it, but I think I would still take down the mobs a lot faster, because when I tried to do it manually, it takes forever to take even a greenie.
Yeah.
All right. But Dorlin says concerning the turtle, since he was one of the people there, he says, "We rocked it!" Or you rocked it. Yes, I think a bleed finally killed the turtle with you having about 54 morale left. Yeah, I was really. And for some reason, Buff Bars was not bringing up the option for me to hit a morale pot. I don't know why. I should have thought, though, that I had some...
So you might have been out of morale pots at that point.
Well, it's possible, but I should have checked to see if I had any universal morale pots. And then maybe have clicked that, and that might have been able to help. But fortunately, I survived anyway, even without it. So that was a nice relief, being able to do the turtle with 3.
Now that we know it can be done.
Right, and none of us were over level because we had 2 40s and a 39, and it's a level 40 quest.
So do you think it would have made a difference if you had a different class balance?
Well, I think we had a pretty pathetic class balance there. I mean, like Berg, Lore Master, and okay, we had DPS, at least we certainly had DPS covered here.
Yeah.
So that may have helped us a little bit. The Berg, of course, helping to make sure that we had an early yellow fellowship maneuver. So that helped us a little bit. And anything else there that we had that was useful? Yeah, we could have used a guard. Yes, a guard would have been useful in that particular one. Someone to tank it a little bit, yeah.
I don't know that I've ever done the Tomb of Elendil. So can you tell me more about it?
All right. This is a part of a storyline where you are asked by Aragorn to get a special gem that is needed for the reforging of his sword. And this special gem, as far as we know, there's only one of these gems left in the world, and that is in Anuminus. So you have to go over to Anuminus, prove to the Rangers that you're trustworthy, then prove to a water spirit that you're trustworthy, and once you do all that, then they say, all right, we will lower the waters in Anuminus. Now I do go down and fetch it. And of course, when you go down there, of course, it's not where they expect it to be because it's the waters then carried it down to somewhere else, and in order to get it, you gotta fight this giant turtle and all that fun stuff.
Okay. Sounds like fun.
Oh yeah, it's the and
you could do it
is
with
a tough
3.
3.
Could you do it with 2?
I'm not too sure you could do it with 2. We barely, by the slightest sliver, got through it with 3.
Okay.
And there was a point where there was one point early on where we got wiped. After that, we were a little bit more cautious, so we managed to get through that without... So we eventually did manage to get things a lot better once we got through there. And we did have a couple problems along later than that on there, but I don't think we had a wipe after that first one, fortunately. But yeah, that was a real nice run and barely through it. And I would definitely not have put money on us finishing it, but we did.
Fair enough.
We currently have 18 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on a podcast of your choice, or even be guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News.
We need more guests.
We do.
We need more guests. Just saying.
Right. Well, I think it's been a while since we had anyone qualify for that particular point. And if you'd like to email us, you can send it to podcast@LotraPlayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at The Players Alliance, @PlayersAlly, Lotra Players @LotraPlayers, Erendis @Erendis, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, Sanswinda @Sanswinda, and Terry Edwin @Terry Edwin. And the senders @Emeralina. It sort of breaks the pattern where they're all close to the other. And then
does. And I am so proud of you for getting that. It took a while, but you're there. I'm very proud of you.
What? For saying it properly, or?
The cinders at Emeralina. Because you used to get so, like, you'd be like, cinders, and then you'd have to, like, stop and think before you could say it.
The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Thursdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROPlayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.